morning, Maria Cristina, and thank you for joining me in this Maersk Growth with Integrated Logistics series. Now today we're going to be talking about the cold chain and the cold chain reefer business. Globally, reefer business represents approximately $247 billion globally and has grown up to $647 billion. So really an impressive growth and a lot of potential for the future. Also, Latin America represents a large part of this business. So 31% of the global ocean freight of reefers moves out of Latin America and 72% of the air freight. So as you can see, this is really an important business here for Latin America.
Thank you, Michael. It's a pleasure for me joining you in this conversation as you have started. There is a powerful statement that you just said about the importance and the key role Latin America plays in the reefer market globally. There is a huge variety of commodities and high volumes that we are moving out of Latin America to the rest of the world, import and export. And with this variety of commodities, we need to have a unique, adaptable, and customized logistics solution because we are moving meats from Brazil, pineapples from Costa Rica, fresh flower from Colombia, avocados from Colombia, exotic fruits. So a lot of commodities and varieties that we have in Latin America.
Exactly. And I think what all of these commodities need is basically the same, which is on-time arrival and in the optimal conditions. So whether you're moving fresh fruit and vegetables, whether you're moving frozen protein and dairy, whether it's fish and seafood, or whether it's pharmaceuticals or other commodities, they all have the same needs, which is to arrive as fast as possible, on time, in a predictable way, and in the best quality possible. So tell us, what are the main challenges in setting up a cold chain for our customers and for ourselves?
There are multiple of needs and challenges that our reefer customers are currently facing. I will point out some of them. There is a need of a reliable, predictable, fast, end-to-end supply chain while maintaining also the product quality. There is also the need to minimize these multiple handovers because we have noticed that our reefer customers are experiencing this fragmentation throughout the supply chain process. There is also lack of visibility and traceability from the farm to the shelf. And also there is lack of infrastructure in these Latin America countries with all these value-added services for storage, distribution, etc.
I think talking about all these different kinds of commodities, whether it's fruit and vegetables, whether it's frozen protein or dairy, whether we talk about seafood and fish, or even pharmaceuticals and other commodities, they all require a special care. And that special care is something that our customers will expect from us. What would you recommend would be the best way to build a resilient cold chain, or maybe even an unbreakable cold chain?
There are multiple key points to build a resilient cold chain. I will point out 4. First, I think we need to have cold storage and these value-added services near the customer premises and facilities. We need to come with a partner expertise because we need to leverage that knowledge in terms of reefer experience. So it's a huge difference, for instance, having a partner which is expert in transport, in customs, in air, land, etc. Another thing that we have identified is that we need to have long-term agreements and fixed rates because this will help us to make the customer less vulnerable to these changes in the spot rates. And last but not least is flexibility. There isn't a resilience without flexibility. We need to have a partner that could help us to unlock these ways to increase agility and be proactive while taking decisions in the supply chain. For example, you need to take a decision if move the cargo by air, sea, or land. So having this correct partner makes a huge difference as well.
Perfectly said. I think what we've seen in the last couple of years with all of the disruptions in the market, there is a need for transparency because the flexibility that you're talking about, the customer wants us to give them that flexibility, but they also want some control. And to be able to make the right decisions, they need the transparency to be able to have the visibility of what's going on with their cargo. So where is their cargo? In what condition is the cargo? And what options do they have? So the shippers very often are looking to the providers to give them guidance on what are our options when things do not go necessarily according to plan. And transparency is something that as we digitize our world, what we're seeing is now we can also digitize each part of the supply chain. So all the way from the field to the cold store, all the way from the cold store to packing into the container, from the container on board the vessel, the land side, the ocean side, what's happening in the terminal, all the way until the final cold store. Each of these steps can be digitized, and that digital information can be shared. And sharing that information is what I think Maersk really has an advantage here. We can offer this visibility through our integrated platform, which is called Captain Peter. And Captain Peter is sort of a remote way of accessing information that's inside the container. So we can look at temperature, we can look at the position geographically, we can look at what else is happening with that container. And that system allows our customers to have the same visibility that we have so that they can make the right decisions on their cargo.
Of course, I believe that this Captain Peter and this visibility that we are giving to the customers is one of the main challenges we have identified. However, there is room to improve, for example, leveraging people, resources, optimization of processes, expertise. I believe that while the producers don't need to fully fledge transformation in one go, but transformation is good. We need to start little by little, making some steps in this transformation because the cold chain or the supply chain project will start to improve. And there is something that we are looking for.
I think the world is changing. The transformation is going to happen whether we want it or not. And it's better to have those discussions with our customers, to be able to offer them a good solution, give them efficiency, which requires standardization, and that efficiency can result in predictability, but also to be able to understand their needs to the way that the customer wants it and the way that the cargo actually needs it. And that customization combined with balancing the standardization, I mean, then we have something that is predictable, a good service that we can offer, but something that also works in real life for a customer.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mike, for having me today.
It's a pleasure to have you, and we look forward to working together on cold chain in the future.
Thank you.